I don't know if it frustrated me, but did it frustrate you? I think it frustrated a lot of people, but how'd you feel about that ending?
I'm gonna need you to breathe.
We are talking about hitting a bullet with a bullet.
So it's a fucking coin toss? That's what $50 billion buys us?
What is up? Drive-by Movies here, and you are watching
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
My name's Blaise.
And sadly, spooky season is over. We're back at it, which is normal movies. We are checking out Netflix's original, A House of Dynamite.
There is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The earth is where we make our stand. It underscores our responsibility to preserve and cherish the only home we've ever known.
A House of Dynamite is the story of a single unattributed missile that is launched at the United States. A race begins to determine who is responsible and how to respond. So this is Kathryn Bigelow's latest film, and it's straight to Netflix. James, what'd you think of the movie?
So I give this movie credit for being very intense throughout it, in its very long 2-hour feel. We get a few different point of views throughout the movie. Some are stronger than others, but what's interesting about this movie is just like, from what I understand, it seems like we get a pretty realistic interpretation of what the U.S. would react if we were under attack in modern day. But, you know, this kind of thing has been done before, not so much in a political Netflix thriller by a very great director like Kathryn Bigelow, but, you know, if you want to watch something similar, I'd say watch Shin Godzilla. It's kind of the same thing on how the U.S. would react, but more comedic, not just because there's a giant monster, but also just like, if you know today's U.S. Political administration, you just know that like they'd probably act similar to how the government reacts in Godzilla. So yeah, what are your thoughts coming out of House of Dynamite?
So I would say for the first 30 or so minutes, I was really enjoying this movie. I think once the structure of the film is revealed, I was kind of becoming less interested as each structure kind of unfolds. It just feels like it's a good concept for a movie. There was a book that came out a couple years ago called like A Nuclear War. I think it's A Nuclear War, a Scenario, by Annie Jacobson. And it basically details like this exact movie as like a scenario. And it's a pretty long book. And it's a book that kind of took the world by storm just because of how scary the actual book is. It details like, you know, really what's going on. I think I'm pretty sure it happens during a Cubs Nationals game, and it like details like that's where the rocket hits and just like how many people just get waxed right off the top. And it's a crazy book. I would recommend it. It's absolutely terrifying, probably the best horror book ever written. And it's not a horror, it's like a total nonfiction book. But yeah, so this definitely felt like it was their version of like kind of like retelling this book in a sensible way. I don't know if that same approach would be taken if this was to happen at this exact moment. Like the fact that you have Idris Elba's characters like pretty like level-headed. I feel like we're moving farther and farther away from like a level-headed world scenario like during a Cold War, where, you know, you had moments where people were thinking more rational, more level-headed about these situations that could put the whole world, you know, turn it on its head. But yeah, I liked it. I would just say that the way that they chose to tell this story with the 3 different parts from 3 different perspectives never felt like it added really that much to the whole movie. And the ending, I don't know if it frustrated me, but did it frustrate you? I think it frustrated a lot of people, but how'd you feel about that ending?
I mean, it didn't frustrate me because I will always watch movies with subtitles. So you are kind of given the ending and the end credits, you know, that we were attacked. A lot of missiles have went off. You don't necessarily know if they were like the U.S. doing, you know, retaliation attacks possibly. But, you know, I just took it. I mean, I know it is technically left in the air, but I feel like it's still spelled out pretty easily that like Chicago was attacked and then there was a retaliation right then and there. So I mean, like, that's the logical interpretation, even without the end credits of like explosions going off. Because, you know, maybe it depends on your sound speakers. You might not have noticed the sounds of explosions happening during the end credits. But like the subtitles specifically say sounds of explosions or missiles exploding or something. So, you know, like I was like, okay, I got the ending for the most part. Like, you know, it does feel a little abrupt. It doesn't feel cheap, but just like, it just like this movie I felt like was craving for something to happen. I thought like Jared Harris's storyline like kind of had the most fulfilling like kind of ending, despite it like kind of being a little bit of a like a cliche-esque somewhat ending that, like, you know, if this was a short film that would have been like, that's not how you're supposed to end a short film. But yeah, like it overall, just I'd say the movie just it's frustrating just for how long it is, for just like, you know, this sequence of like 30 minutes of time and just like kind of replaying it from all these different perspectives. It's like that part of it just comes a little just like kind of just revolting after just like the movie's like a little over 2 hours, but after like 90 minutes of it, it's just like, I know what we're doing, just like, can we wrap this up?
Yeah, and I will say there was like weird choices. I feel like, I mean, I understand like they put the president in like different scenarios, and like I feel like it was funny like in the first scenario, like his camera is not working at all, like he's just like, where is he, dude? I thought like his reveal was gonna be more epic too, like because you know it's Idris Elba from his voice. I thought like the final reveal like of Idris Elba would have him like standing next to Kim Jong-un or Randall Park as Kim Jong-un. But yeah,
sequel
like
to the interview.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like I would say that the choice in which they made to like how to tell the film, it could have been done better. But yeah, that's the only thing. It was like a little frustrating, especially from Kathryn Bigelow. I feel like there was a different way to do this movie. I know they wanted to be ambiguous, and the main takeaway they want you to have from the film is just like, how would different administrations deal with this scenario? How would you deal with this scenario if you were the POTUS? Like, but I don't think many people are coming away from the film even like taking a chance to think about that. They're more just like, dude, that was a frustrated ending. Like, I wanted to see the missile, or I wanted to see the retaliation strikes. Yeah, I feel like the level of film criticism these days, like people aren't even like taking, or more audience reaction, they aren't even like, you know, taking the film to heart or thinking about it at all. They're more just frustrated by what they saw on the screen.
Right. Then, yeah, at the end of the day, that's also not the point over the movie. Like, at the end of the day, this is just supposed to be a movie that's supposed to gather, like, reactions on, like, yeah, what you would do in this scenario, or, like, how the U.S. actually would react to this and stuff, too. Because there's so much, like, approval background that needs to go down. A lot of, like, requiring speaking to experts on just, like, where this is happening from. Like, just because, you know, so, like, you know, like you see the boring aspects of it, but it's stuff that like us, the audience, doesn't know about. So like I understand why that's what we're seeing, and this movie isn't supposed to be the action thriller of seeing those moments and stuff too. I think like Kathryn Bigelow basically was kind of more interested in the aspects of like some of the stuff behind the scenes of Zero Dark 30 and wanted to fulfill more of those sequences, and that's kind of what this movie is basically. In Zero Dark 30 we see the action of trying to infiltrate Osama bin Laden, but this time we're seeing the behind the scenes of the masterminds who figured out what to do. Basically that's what this movie essentially is. And, you know, whether that works for everyone or not is like up for you, but at the end of the day, it's like a really well-directed, pretty well-acted movie. But similar, like I brought up this movie last week, how both were on the same rating system for me, but on opposite ends of the spectrum, where that was like a dumb, fun time, but I still didn't like the movie. This is like a good movie, but just like, I just didn't enjoy it though, essentially.
Yeah, I'll say I did enjoy like... I overall, I think I did enjoy this because I was kind of locked in with it. The story was gripping enough for me to be interested in it. But I will say, like, I feel like they could have taken better creative choices to tell the story better. But overall, I will say I did enjoy this movie. But I just, at the end of the day, I think it could have been way better than it was. And I especially expect that from Kathryn Bigelow.
Yeah. And I'm just cracking up also at like the political rounds that this is made, also with the Pentagon reacting to this movie, sending a notice that like, no, we have 100% like reacted versus the 60% that's listed in the movie too. But I know that experts have said like, no, this movie is actually pretty factually correct, but whatever. Like I like that really made me interested. I'm like, oh, is this movie got something to say? And I didn't know what critics were saying about it going in, so I was like expecting this to be like some crazy movie. I'm like, really? That's like the number one thing that upset you, Pentagon?
I wouldn't expect much from them nowadays, you know. So
yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, closing out, yeah, like, you know, this is a movie that, like, I could see, like, with the intentions of trying to be, like, a Oscar, like, not Oscar bait movie, but this is a movie that Netflix is probably having high hopes for. Whether or not it's going to succeed, we'll have to see what else comes out this year, but we've already had so many bangers that this one kind of is just, you know, kind of going to easily be forgotten about in my eyes at the very least, but we'll see when it comes to, like, the award season. But let us know what your thoughts were. A great way to help support us. Leave a comment down below. Keep the conversation going, telling us what you thought about the movie.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
And speaking of updates, catch all our social media links down below. We got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, also our own personal letterbox accounts. That'll be it for this week. Tune in next week for a brand new video.